Up next, Pullman residents, have you been drinking dirty water? I know I have. Well, the next time you drink tap water, it may look a little funny.
And President Biden's 60 Minutes interview gave us a lot of information. Will he run in 2024? We'll have details coming up on Murrow News 8.
West Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University. This is Murrow News 8.
Hi, I'm Noah Bolter.
And I'm Albert James. Thanks so much for joining us for Murrow News 8.
Pullman residents are still dealing with the aftermath of a water main break over the weekend. The break happened Saturday afternoon and brought discolored water and low pressure to areas of the city before being fixed Sunday morning. Take a look at your screen here. Residents in the highlighted area of South Pullman are advised to boil their water before drinking it. The city says they should do so through at least tomorrow. WSU is not included on that map, but some areas of campus are experiencing brown water. The city says discoloration is typically not harmful, but can be flushed out by running the tap for a minute or so. One student told us that they saw brown water coming out of their sink at Northside Hall over the weekend.
I saw the brown water and said, no, I'm not going to drink that.
Was it coming out of your faucet?
Yes. I just didn't drink it. I have a Brita, but I just went bought bottled water.
The city says they are actively monitoring the situation and will test the water to make sure it is safe to use. American journalist Scott Pelley sat down with President Biden to interview him for the award-winning TV show 60 Minutes. During their sit-down conversation, they talked about many hot-button political topics, including whether or not Biden will run for another presidential term. When Pelley asked how Biden responds to those who think he's too old to run for another term, here's what he had to say.
Watch me. I mean, honest to God, that's all I think. Watch me. If you think I don't have the energy level or the mental acuity, then you know, that's one thing.
Biden later clarified that it has always been his intention to run for another term, but he has not yet made a firm decision. Across the pond, Queen Elizabeth was finally laid to rest earlier this morning. The event, attended by President Biden and over 500 other world leaders, was marked by tradition and solemnity. Over 2,000 guests attended the ceremony, and hundreds of thousands of people lined the streets of London to watch the Queen make her final way to her resting place at Windsor Castle.
A man from Beauville was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced on Friday to 10 years in prison. Police say 30-year-old Tyler Bayer crashed an ATV last September while under the influence of alcohol. They say his blood alcohol level was 0.169 at the time of his arrest. The crash killed his passenger, Nolan B. Meese. Bayer previously pleaded guilty to 2 DUIs.
Over in Idaho now, Latah County recorded its youngest ever COVID-19 death. On Saturday, the North Central Health District reported that a 23-year-old man died of COVID. According to the county, the man's infection was first reported in late July, but his passing was only announced this past week. Overall, Latah County has recorded a total of 51 deaths since the beginning of the pandemic, but only 7 of those have been people younger than 60.
Today, WSU Insider published commentary on a study released on the first of the month concerning water carbon dioxide and methane emissions resulting from water reservoir installations. The study revealed that the total greenhouse gas emissions generated by reservoirs reached a peak in 1987, and the exponential increase of methane in the atmosphere since then poses a big threat to the environment. WSU has announced that its new contraceptive vending machine will be placed in the Compton Union building by the end of October and will offer pregnancy tests, contraceptives, and Advil. Business management major Nikolai Sublet, the student behind the project, says that prices will vary depending on the product, but the average cost is expected to be around $15. Coming up, our very own Aaron Monson got some student reactions on Saturday's win and their predictions for the upcoming matchup against the Ducks. And weather is starting to cool down, but Alex McCollum has your weather for this upcoming week. We'll be right back. The Cougs had an easy win against Colorado State on Saturday, and students on campus are excited about the upcoming matchup against Oregon. But there are some that are pessimistic.
Are you hopeful about the game against Oregon on Saturday?
Absolutely.
What do you think the team needs to work on?
I think we just need to keep a positive spirit up, and I think that as long as we keep, doing what we're doing, I think we're going to do good.
I'm nervous because, they're a good team and everything, but I would have to say I'm still excited. I'm sure it's going to go fine.
Do you think it's dumb that UW is ranked and we're not?
Yes, I think it's absolutely stupid.
Are you excited for us to play the Ducks this week?
Yeah, I think we're going to beat them, so.
Really?
Yeah.
By how much?
Don't ask. I just know.
Doing a lot better than we thought, and I'm super excited for the Oregon game this Saturday. I'm going to be there.
You're going to be at this one this time?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Like 100%?
1,000, yeah.
What do you think the score is going to be?
30-17.
Okay.
Oregon.
Now some news that will come as a relief for many WSU students who have been on campus the past few weeks. The overhead air is finally wildfire smoke-free, with airnow.gov giving Pullman a healthy rating, which is expected to continue throughout the week. However, wildfires are still burning across the region, so we'll be sure to keep you updated on the current conditions and if they change. Speaking of better air quality, the sky has been clear and the sun has been shining all day. Alex, can we expect weather like this for the rest of the week?
That's right, Albert. The air has been better and the sky has been extra sunny today. However, that will change a little bit later in the week. More on that in just a second. Today we are looking at highs in the mid-70s. We have a high of 75 and a low of 41 and a nice breeze coming from the west. And then looking ahead at tomorrow's weather, we have very similar conditions, a high of 76 and a low of 44, again with that light breeze from the west. Taking a look at the state map, we have sunshine across the state today, all the way from the east side to the west side. Starting over here in Seattle, we have a high of 73 and a low of 54, and then a high of 78 in Olympia, so I'm jealous, honestly. It's a little bit warmer there than it is over here. Taking a look over at the east side, Yakima and the Tri-Cities, they get the low 80s today, and then up in Spokane, very similar to weather to Pullman as per usual. Taking a look at the weekly forecast, however, we do see some rain start to come in Wednesday evening. There's about a 90% chance of rain, and that's going to last into Thursday morning. So I brought some of my rain boots to Pullman. I'm very excited to finally be able to wear those. However, that is going to clear up by Friday, and we have a nice 70 for the Saturday game. So all you'll need for that matchup is a light sweater. That's all I have for weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Alex. Football was at home while soccer was away. Find out what happened in Coug Athletics this weekend.
And we'll have an update on the Mariners versus Angels game. Daniela Julio-Cano has your sports report next.
The Cougs took on the Colorado State Rams on Saturday and proved once again why they deserve a spot in the top 25. Deion Henley, transfer student and Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week, had 13 total tackles, 3 sacks, 14-yard loss, and 2 forced fumbles. Cam Ward threw for 299 yards, finding the end zone 4 times and 1 interception. 2 of his touchdowns were to Donovan Ollie, who had 82 yards, and the other 2 were to Deshaun Stribling, who had 69 yards. Nakia Watson had 8 rushes for 74 yards after an explosive week against Wisconsin. But the running back that made a difference this week was redshirt freshman Cannon Kitzer. He ran for 54 yards on 6 attempts with a touchdown mixed in. The Cougs are set to take on now ranked 15 University of Oregon on Saturday at 1 p.m. Yesterday, the WSU soccer team faced St. Mary's to close out their non-conference schedule. The Cougs won with a final score of 2-0. The last time these two teams faced off was in 2017, with WSU taking the win. In the 34th minute, senior transfer Brianna McReynolds scored her first goal as a Coug. Junior Margie DeTrizio doubles the lead in the 87th minute for the 2-0 WSU victory. Next game for the Cougs soccer team is on September 23rd at 6 p.m. at Oregon State. This past weekend, the WSU volleyball team played in the University of Minnesota's Diet Coke Classic. The Cougs faced Pepperdine on Friday, taking a 2-3 loss. On Saturday, the Cougs went head-to-head against Minnesota, but fell short with a loss of 1-3. WSU volleyball is set to face off University of Washington on September 21st at 6 p.m. in Seattle. Now for the Manners. The Manners took on the Angels today in Anaheim, and did they start off too hot. Ty France hit a double in the top of the first inning with 2 outs to score 1. Later in the 5th, Carlos Santana hit a grand slam to put the Manners up 5-1. Ty France added 3 more runs with a 3-run home run in the 7th, leading 8-1. In the top of the inning, Carlos Santana hit his second home run of the day on the opposite side of the plate. The Manners never looked back, winning in comfortable fashion 9-1.
Football and soccer both had a dominant weekend for Coug athletics. Volleyball gave it their best try, but those Golden Gophers sure are feisty. One thing is for sure, they aren't ranked number 6 for no reason.
That's right. And to wrap things up, we discuss a big play and a familiar face being in the mix. We're back after this break.